All right. The subject of this video will be narcissists don't acknowledge laws. They think they're above the law. They think no law applies to them. And they actually use the excuse of religion to excuse them of laws. They'll be like, oh, God's law is above land's laws, the country's laws. They'll use that excuse. And this is another reason why they're so dangerous, in my view, is because they don't acknowledge laws in any way. They don't acknowledge child abuse for sure. They don't acknowledge child abuse, their own child abuse. They don't acknowledge on any level. Um, and they probably don't acknowledge laws in the business realm. They probably don't acknowledge laws, um, would be my guess. Um, they definitely don't acknowledge laws when it comes to religion. Uh, um, they use the tax exempt status when they're not really they're more of a business than a religion, but they use the religion cover uh, for a business for tax exemption with the taxes. So they use the name of Jesus to excuse themselves of taxes, basically. Um, but they're more of a business, uh, but they don't realize how many people get hurt in their business thinking that it's a religion, thinking that it's a religion. They don't realize how many people they're hurting by using the religion aspect of the business. You know what I mean? It's more they don't upfront just say it's a business, but we're pretending it's a religion. They don't say that. You know what I mean? So they get tax exemption. They're more of a realty business, uh, and that kind of thing. But like, they don't realize how many people they're messing with mentally that think it's an actual religion that they're practicing. You know what I mean? Like, uh, so they definitely like they try to avoid the law, or they think they're exempt from the law, so they know how to get around the law. You know what I mean? Uh, so they're basically expert criminals, basically at hiding what they do. You know what I mean? So that's another reason why they're dangerous, and they're very slick with the tongue. They have the silver tongue. They have the gift of gab when needed, and so that's another reason why they're dangerous is their silver tongue. Uh, and so you got to remember that. Um, so that's another reason why I fear them in a way. Well, I have feared them is because I didn't think I could beat them when it came to law. You know what I mean? When it came to going up against them in court, I didn't think I could beat them because they had the silver tongue. They had the gift of gab. They had the persuasion. You know what I mean? Uh, the only lucky thing in my case is uh, they didn't fool God, the real God. So like they fooled everybody else, but they didn't fool the real God. In my opinion, the real God saw everything that happened, everything they did in the light and in the dark. God saw everything they were doing, how they were hurting everybody, and so like it was not going unseen. It's like uh, even though God didn't really stop them, in my opinion, uh, it was seen. It wasn't unseen. You know what I mean? That's the major thing. Is like uh, there is some accountability still from and that's why a lot of narcissists don't want to acknowledge that there is a God because they don't want to be held accountable after they die. Uh, but they definitely it looks like they will be held accountable. So if any cluster B watches this video, you are going to be held accountable for everything you've done, everything you're doing now, all the secrets you have in the dark, uh, all the people you've hurt on purpose, and you thought you got away with it. You will be held accountable. So even I'll be held accountable for if I hurt anybody, but I don't know if I have, but I I don't like um, even though I was around narcissists, I'm not like them. You know, I'm just I'm a survivor of them. Uh, I thought I was like them, you know, like they were trying to make me like them, you know, and think like them, and I was around them a lot, but like in the end, the way they are, it's a dead end. You know, it's an empty dead end. The way they live, it's a totally dead end, and I realize that there's nothing there. You know, there's no joy, there's nothing. You know, it's just an empty dead end for the cluster Bs, especially the narcissists. Um, it's a dead end. The lifestyle is a dead end to the very end. You know, but anyways, that's just the topic that's been pressing on me is like growing up in a cult and growing up around these narcissists in a cult. Uh, they don't acknowledge laws. They don't. They don't think laws apply to them at all. And I'm serious. They don't acknowledge laws. Uh, they think they're God. They think they're gods on the earth, and they're exempt because they think they're gods on the earth, so they're exempt because it's in their head, you know, that they're God. And so, uh, anyways, I just thought that was interesting. Um, but that's another thing you got to watch out for, and that's another thing I don't really trust law enforcement to protect me when needed, or restraining orders to do anything when it comes to narcissists. So I don't count on those things. You know what I mean? Like I have to be totally self-sufficient and defend myself. Be ready to defend myself anywhere I go. Be ready to defend myself. You know, if I'm encountered by one of these narcissists from my past trying to stalk me. But anyways, like um, yeah, I feel for the people that have been gang stalked. You know, it's like being popular with the wrong crowd, with the very wrong crowd. You know, with the psychopath crowd. You don't want to be popular with the psychopath crowd. You know, following you around like a paparazzi. That's not the crowd you want following you around. Trust me. And so I a full gang stalking hasn't happened to me, and I'm thankful for that. I'm very thankful for that. But uh, I don't count it out totally because I don't want to get too overconfident because it's only I haven't been no contact for very long, so I don't want to get overconfident that I'll never be gang stalked because like uh, I don't I don't really underestimate the lengths that these individuals will go. Um, based on my life, based on my life, and based on my history with them, and based on how I was brainwashed intentionally and groomed by them, and how they think they own me, mainly because they think they own me. I don't underestimate the lengths that they will go to get their property. You know what I mean? As if I'm like property. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways, that's all I wanted to say is that's kind of another aspect that not a lot of people think about is like uh, they don't acknowledge laws, and so you gotta take that into account that they don't acknowledge laws at all. And so um, Just remember that, and I will talk to you guys later.